Alrighty, am I live? Hello, welcome to Keep On Growing. I'm your host, Mike Van Doozy. Well, I'm just gonna run my mouth a little bit, give people a chance to kind of get on in here. And as you come on in, say hey and say where you're from. Let me see my banners, get everything right. We're gonna talk a little bit about. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the seeds. Everyone's asking about my seeds, where I get them from. I'll show you a couple of them. And real quick before we get started. I want to say thank you to all the people who did order like the grow boxes and that. I got a lot of orders last night, and I couldn't see the chat. My chat was disabled after, on the replay. And right at the end of last night's show, somebody, said, I love your channel and that. I didn't really see it. I saw that and I said, thank you. And then right before we ended, he said that he went over and he bought like 5 downspouts. And I wasn't looking at the chat right then. I was winding up the show and I said bye, and I didn't get a chance to say thank you. I think his name on Etsy was Duncan's dad or something. So if you pop in tonight or you watch this on the replay, I want to say thank you. I didn't see your comment until right at the end. I think your name was Pete or something. I might have that wrong, but thank you. If you guys have any questions, Jeannie, how are you doing? And Donna, how are you doing? Yes, I can see you. Cool. Tulsa. Okay. Oklahoma. Awesome. How's the weather in Oklahoma? We've kind of warmed up a little bit here in Florida. But yeah, so as people are coming in, Angela, hello, thank you. Oh, you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma too, so there's 2 of you. I'm going to read off some names real quick and just say thank you as people are starting to come in. Sweet and warm, 70 degrees. Yes, that sounds awesome. If it would stay like this all year long, it would be great. But let me just read off a couple of names. I might not get to all of them, but Vivia, if anybody watches this on replay, I just want to say thank you to a lot of people. Ronald, Lori, for helping support the channel. Pete, Walter, Shirley, Michael and Beth. D-Chan, you had a question too in your order, and I'm going to answer that really quick. Miss Lee, Sheila, CK, Estelle, Norm, Leisha, Sandra, Richard, Matt, and Duncan's dad, who we're talking about, Margie, Laura, let's see, Lorita. And some of you have left me like really, really nice comments. And I just want to say thank you for all of that. And some of you have kind of opened up to me and told me a little bit about your story too. And that's really touching. And I really appreciate you guys doing that. Gina, how are you doing? I know Gina for a little while. She makes excellent vlogs. If you guys haven't seen Gina, go check out her channel. Click on the little 3 dots there and check out her channel. She makes excellent vlogs. Yeah, good to see you too. We're just jumping in here and just talking a little bit about hydroponics and seeds and that. Rumper Stomper Bomber. Tell me that. Tell you. Cool. Yeah. So everybody that made a purchase last night, like I said, I really appreciate that. You helped this channel out, and anybody that use the little applaud button. Like I said, if anybody does that, I want to say thank you, because like I said, I have no way of knowing who did that. Like super chats, I can tell and I can say thank you. And whoever uses the applaud button and donates, I have no way to know who it is. So if you did it, thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody, naming everyone. Yeah, and everybody, anybody that bought one. And when you all get your downspouts, it's going to look like that. When you start growing them out and all that, I want you all to take pictures, send them in to me, and I'm going to share them all. Anil, how are you doing? Let's see. And if you're not in the Facebook group, it's Keep On Growing on Facebook. A lot of you joined last night. I think there's over 1,000 people in there. Jump on over there, share what you're growing. You can just share your pictures over there. And also, like I said, if you have questions, I'm over there once in a while and I answer those. I answer most of the questions on here, but there's a lot of other people over there that are real knowledgeable about the same kind of stuff. and they love helping everybody out. Love how fancy that is. You put me on the screen. Cool. This is real easy, Gina. It's called StreamYard, right up there. And this is the free version. I had the paid version. I could put all kind of graphics up. There's a green screen you can use, but I'm not using a green screen because I have all kinds of green stuff in here, and it wouldn't work right. But there's a green screen, and you can even make these a little bigger too. Let me see what work this around. It was minimal. You can make them look like that, and you can see your icon too. So that's pretty cool. Let me switch that around. Pajama Jammer, how are you doing? Alrighty. So some people are in here, like I said, we got the buy one get one free. I have the little banner going down there, and y'all can go check it out. I'm not going to talk about that all night. I'm just putting it down there, but y'all going to keep me busy this week. I've got a lot of orders to fill. If you watched last night's show, you saw that we had sunflower sprouts and we had pea shoots growing. And just wanted to show you guys, I got some more. I said I've got some more soaking. That's what I do when I've got them ready to harvest. The sunflower sprouts, my wife ate them all. So you have some growing, and you go ahead and when they're ready to harvest, before you're done with them, you go ahead and get some more soaking. This is soak overnight. You drain them out and you rinse them out once a day. And any of you have done sprouts know how to do that. You do the sunflowers like that, and you do it for about 1 or 2 days, and they'll have a little tail. They'll start to sprout, and then you plant out one of the containers like I showed you guys, and then you just leave it. And about a week later, 10 days later, you've got sunflower sprouts with a self-watering container. You don't have to do anything to it. I don't have one here with me. If you watched last night's show or one of my other videos, I've got all of those in there. But if you were here last night, you would have saw that. G. Santini, hi from Alaska. Wow. Just came on. We'll go back. Lots of love. Cool deal. Appreciate it. So I like that is set it and forget it. We learn how to grow microgreens, which are healthy for you. And we do it in a way that is really, really easy. It's something that almost anybody can do. But some people were asking about the seeds, which one I use. And if I'm not growing microgreens, if I'm growing them for the garden, I just get them up at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, whatever. But the ones I'm using for microgreens that you saw, like these sunflowers, are these right here. And that's from Handy Pantry. Now there's a link in my Amazon store down below, and that's where I got those from. Or I think you can order right from Handy Pantry, and there's another one, Sprout House. Even though that's an Amazon store, I think the Sprout House has their own website too. You can order straight from them. But this was £1.50 pounds, and that's still pretty full. I've grown a whole lot of sunflower sprouts with that. I think this ran about $20. Don't quote me on that. It was somewhere around that. But I still got a whole lot of that. I use about 1/4 cup in each one. So that's the one I'm using for the sunflowers. It says it's organic black oil sunflower seeds, and it's from Handy Pantry. Now, Sprout House is where I use the peas. If you check out last night's show, you saw we had the peas were like about that tall. And like I said, all of these grew by themselves. No care. It's not, microgreens a little tough to take care of. But those I just popped in, sprayed them a little the first couple of days, let them sit under the lights, and they just grew as long as you have that self-watering container. Did you say Handy Pantry? Yeah, I'm sorry. Handy Pantry. And you spelled it just right. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Thank you, Jeff. Jeff gave me a little super chat last night. I want to shout out Jeff. And if y'all haven't checked out his channel, you can just click on the little 3 dots down beside his name and check his channel out. He's growing off-grid hydroponics and that too. And he's growing indoors. So a lot of you are up north and you're growing indoors. You can check out Jeff's one. He's growing tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's the Sprout House. Yeah, they've got their website right on there. And 1-800-SPROUTS. And that's the one I was growing the peas with. You can see I'm almost done with the peas. So we ate a lot of those. And I'm going to plant some of those out. Harvested those. They're in the refrigerator, and we're going to plant a couple of them too. And one more that we've been using is this one. Y'all recognize that? Broccoli. Now see how much, this is 1 pound. It says 454 grams. See the back. Now each one of those containers, if you look at last night's show, and I'm going to have video coming out like in a couple of days, but it's a 5x5 top, and it's just full of broccoli sprouts. We only used about not even 10 grams of seeds, just like a teaspoon. So you can see out of this one bag how many of those containers of microgreens you will get. Now this bag was only like $25. So, you know, that might seem like a lot, but look at all the seeds that are in there. And you imagine you only use about a teaspoon each serving, and you grow a lot of greens. Now, if you grew those microgreens, the picture you saw in the thumbnail, all of those, what were they called, milk cartons, and that whole thing that was filled up, that came from just a little tiny portion of one of those microgreen containers. So I grew the microgreens and just took a little bit out of one corner of them, planted those out, and that's what we grew all those broccoli greens with. So this little $25 thing, you know, imagine just a little bit like that grew all of those greens that were out there. So you've got, you know, this, you could either grow loads and loads more, or else that'd be enough for a couple of years. So $25 goes a long way. Now, if you went into the store, y'all let me know wherever you're at. Have you seen microgreens in the store? And what's the price? Because if we get any kind of little small containers about the size of a pint or a half pint, they're like skinny. It's like about $8.99 or something around here. But that's like in like some of the health food stores, and the regular grocery stores won't even carry it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. I think I saw Publix was starting to carry some microgreens. I know that they had like alfalfa sprouts. I think they just call them broccoli sprouts, and it might have been a little cheaper. Miss Lee, how are you doing? I planted my snow peas outdoors today. Cool. May have to cover them up 1 or 2 more nights, but that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. That's cool. Those peas that you saw we had last night, I'm going to try and plant some of those out there too and see if they'll take off. And then we ate them too. Pajama Jammers in Texas. There's a lot of people from Texas and Oklahoma here tonight. Microgreens are very pricey. Yeah, South Carolina. Yeah, and well, you know, we first started hearing about it, we got excited about it. We wanted to get some, and the only place we could find them was like a farmer's market. And I think it was like $8.99, $9.99 or something. And it was a little small container of them. It was, I know it takes a lot of seeds. You know, like I said, if you take this and you took that little bit of seeds, that if you were actually growing broccoli, it'd go a long way. But if you're growing microgreens, you're going to take that and just grow, you know, a handful of greens. So that's one reason why they're a little more expensive. But the price that they put on them is just kind of crazy. It's but it's easy for y'all to grow. I mean, like I said, if you get, you know, that's a load of broccoli greens that you can get out of that. I think if you buy it in bulk, if you try to buy like an ounce at a time or a couple of ounces, it'll probably be cost prohibitive. But buying them in bulk like that, I mean, shoot, you could probably feed the whole neighborhood with that. And I grow broccoli. You guys are wondering, you know, what's my obsession with it? It's just, I had a lot of seeds, you know, I ordered that. We're eating microgreens. And then I wanted to try the milk carton garden. So I had those. I said, let's see what happens with them. And what do you call it? We put those out there. They grew like gangbusters. And what do you call it? I got some more to go behind it. But broccoli greens, the microgreens, they said has up to 40 times the amount of nutrients as broccoli. That's a little bit deceiving. You know, it's not wrong, but they're talking about like pound for pound or serving per serving. So if you look at like a serving of broccoli, it's pretty heavy. So if you take that same weight in microgreens, it's going to be, a lot of microgreens. You're not going to eat that much at one time. So you do get, it is nutrient dense, but, it's still a little bit different. JDS, how are you doing? What's up, Mike? Do you keep your seeds in the fridge? I don't. You can, right? Like I said, we keep our house is like the mid 70s, and we go through these like really fast because we're just eating a lot of them. If it was gonna, this I might could put some of that in there, and I haven't had any problems with them germinating, and I might try it with my pak choi germinates just well. I've heard, is that what you're talking about? Is if you put it in there, it kind of seems like it's wintertime, and then when you bring them out and plant it, then they sprout. Is that the reason why you're putting them in the fridge, or is it keep them longer? Angela, anybody? I've purchased the book, but not finding it. Am I looking in the wrong place? Yeah, Angela. And everybody, let me just mention this real quick too. My ebook, links down below. If any in the Etsy shop, if anybody's interested in that, it's like $4.99. And if you buy it, if you haven't shopped on Etsy before, you go to Etsy and you purchase the ebook. And when you purchase it, after the transaction, there's going to be one small button, and they need to make it bigger. It should be like a big button, like red or something. It's a little tiny button. It just says download. And if you don't, you click that, and then it just saves it on your computer. Now, if you miss that, I think you can go back to it. Angela, if you can't find it, let's see. I'll find you on Etsy, and what I'll do is I'll just message you, and I can attach the ebook to that message. So let me write that down real quick so I don't forget, guys. So if it looks like an earthquake, but I just set up this makeshift table here real quick. All right, I'll take care of that, Angela. And if anybody else does it, like I said, Etsy's kind of funny. You do a little transaction, and there's this little tiny button somewhere. It says download. Don't feel bad, Angela. It's like 10 to 20% of people miss it, and that's how I know to just go ahead and. Yeah, I'm on. Okay. And I just forward them the ebook myself. Let's see. Yes. So I think you were talking about the what do you call it? You're putting them in there so that it feels like it's winter, and then it'll germinate. I haven't had too much problem with that, but you can give it a try. Like I said, most of my seeds I'm growing amaranth. My pak choi broccoli comes up really easy. All of these, and these were sprouting, in the jar first, and then so I think that gets kind of cold, sitting in there. What else am I growing? Yeah, lettuce. I think maybe that would help. Sometimes the lettuce has a hard time germinating. Thomas Robson, my internet sucks. Yeah, me too. That's what I was off for a long time. I didn't do any live streams. My internet around here was just like we'll be having a live stream and just drop off, and then all of a sudden I get real glitchy, and it was terrible. And it kept going on and off, and it go off for like days at a time. And I was having techs come out here and look at stuff, and one guy would run a new wire, one guy would fix a jack, one guy would change the modem, and went on for like months and months. So I think this last time they finally fixed it, and that's what I jumped back on here. It's not the best internet in the world, but at least it's not dropping off anymore. And cool. So anybody have any questions in that? Like I said, most of the other seeds I just get like at Home Depot or Lowe's. The amaranth, I think there's a link down below in the Amazon store. If you guys are looking for the red garnet amaranth, I love that because it's just a bright color. Everything tends to be green that we're growing. Then you get that real bright red, and you kind of throw that in, sprinkle that in with your food, and you don't need a lot. Now, if you get amaranth, it looks like it's going to cost a whole lot for like a tiny bit of seed, but the seeds are real fine, and it doesn't take much. So you'll get a little packet. If I just start for $5, I think I got about an ounce. And I took some and just sprinkle it around, and those will grow to microgreens. You don't need very much, and there's a strong taste. It's like beets to me. It's an earthy kind of flavor, but it's a real vibrant color with your microgreens if you're sprinkling it on stuff, or if you're rolling up spring rolls. It's real bright, shows through. And what I like to do is actually grow it into baby greens, and it will actually grow into a plant and have big leaves, and you can cut amaranth up and cook it down if you like. We like just toss it in and stuff raw, but it'll actually grow a lot bigger. Different room. Oh, okay. From where your internet set up, yeah, I've got to like actually run a wire and be wired into the Ethernet, or mine will just keep cutting off. But yeah, so I get the amaranth off Amazon. I just get a little bit at a time, and all of my stuff I grow in those little containers, and I love doing that. I see Pepe. If you guys watch, he pops on here every once in a while, Pepe Fasos, but he's like selling microgreens for business now in Australia, and he grows stuff in little containers too. It's a metric system over there, but it looks, it's about the size of a pint. And I think he's using biodegradable containers, growing it right in there, and then putting the lid on and taking it to the market, farmer's market, and then he's like some grocery stores. And I think it's like the perfect portion, because when I first started looking at microgreens, and I'm sure y'all saw this too, everyone out there was growing them on 10 by 20 trays. And, just me and my wife like eating them, that's a lot. If you grow something that's spicy, like radish or mustard greens, that's a lot of spicy microgreens to have at one time. I like to grow a variety of just a bunch of greens like broccoli, sunflowers, and all of that. And then I like to have like a couple of spicy ones, a little radish or a little mustard green, and then some for color like the amaranth, and just have a little bit of a variety. I like growing them in small portions. That's why I started the little small containers, was that I don't like to waste stuff. Like I said, if you're going to buy this, if that's $25 and, you're growing big trays, 10 by 20 trays, you go through it pretty quick. And if you only eat part of it and then you're throwing the rest in compost, then basically you're like throwing your money in the compost pile. So I was trying to figure out how much we eat. Then I make the small containers, and if we eat a little more than that, I'll grow 2 of those. And then, like I said, while one of them's growing and it's just about ready to harvest, I'll start another one. Then you got one coming right behind the other and right behind the other. And then you can always have microgreens sitting around, something healthy to toss on all your food and everything. It's really cool. It cuts them up and just take like a handful and drizzle a little bit like olive oil and vinegar on it. There's all kinds of stuff you can do for it, and it's just healthy. And the other benefit is that you always have, if you grow up to this stage, that, if you get the downspout, then you always have your microgreens. And then say this isn't real, because I wouldn't be, dripping a nutrient solution all over here. But say you want to harvest this and you want to eat, this. So you go through and you take one of these small things and you harvest it. All you have to do is clean it out, dump out your nutrients, clean it out, and then get your microgreens and pop some more in there, and you're ready to go again. You pop that back in the sun or the windowsill, and you're back in business. So we have a continuous cycle of greens that you can have without having. When you do your traditional garden, you get out there, you plow, you get the thing, your ground ready, you plant everything out, you're weeding, you're doing all kinds of stuff, adding compost. Then you go through and you harvest. And if you want to start over, you get back out and you pull everything up and you till everything under, and then you have to let it sit for a while, and then you turn over the soil and blah, 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 blah. This is, you harvest that, and within hours, you can have your next crop coming again. And just keep doing it over and over. Once you get to growing like that, then it doesn't seem so daunting. And then when something does happen, or you get some pests, something eats your crop, get rid of it. You got more microgreens, put them back out there, try again. When you put a ton of work into like a traditional garden where you're building a compost pile and you're tilling and you're doing all of that, and then you get locusts come in or something happens, or there's a drought in your sprinkler system, then it go on. All of a sudden you're like, well, that shot my season. Now I got to wait for the next season. With this, you just get rid of the plants and just start over. If you got your microgreens all always ready to go, then you're always set. And then it's like real easy going. You don't worry about anything. Hi, Mike in Arizona. Cool, cool. Al, how are you doing, Al? Miss Lee, are you going to let the broccoli in the cartons grow to heads? No, it's not going to get to that point because right now, um, I don't know if I could, but this experiment, remember when I first started it, I told you all that I was going to plant them in there, and I put a half a gallon of nutrients. It's sitting out there, a little bit of rainwater, kind of worked its way down, not much, but I let it sit in there, and then I told you that I was just going to let it go and go. I'm not going to take any care of it, just to show you guys how far it can go on its own. And then that way, that's one extreme. And then if you guys are at least able to care for it a little, it might do, a little bit better. So I'm just letting it go. And it's to the point where I think 3 containers have like started to dry up and the leaves started to dry out and they're starting to float and there's barely any liquid in it. And I'm going to film that. So like I said, so I wanted that timeline. Maybe the next time I will. The ones that are in, you remember my NFT system that I had? And the pump went out, so I turned it into the crack key thing. I'll take a little picture of that. Those on there bolted. I think I actually stuck a picture on Instagram, and I don't know if I did it on my last video or not, but I'll go ahead and do that. Hey, Michael. Hey, Larry. How are you doing? Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Let's see, microgreens are a great way to have fresh produce. Yeah, it's so easy, 10 to 14 days for a crop, and it's amazing. Yeah, Jeannie, that is just cool. That's what, if you think every 2 weeks, even if you don't, do it in succession, that when it's done, all of a sudden you can have a new crop coming up. If everything's gone and you have nothing, you think I can start today and in a couple of weeks I have some microgreens. So they're pretty awesome. Where is AZ Mike? I don't know, Jeannie. What do you mean AZ? Arizona? Yeah, what are you talking about? Is you talking about Arizona? Do you grow them, Jeannie? Okay, Jeff's wanting to know. Let's see, moose seem to think I'm growing greens for them. Yeah, downspouts indoors have saved us a lot each spring. Awesome. That's awesome to hear. Larry, I'm great, Mike. Glad to see you're still at it. Yeah, I just said, like I said, I had a problem with my internet for a while, and excuse me. I had other projects going too. Uh, Making videos on YouTube, they call it being a creator. And I got in with a bunch of other creators, and we're doing another channel trying to help people, make channels. Everybody wants to make a channel, and it's not that easy. It's kind of tough. There's a lot that you have to go through, so we're kind of helping each other out. Let's see. Yeah, Arizona. Zone 6, getting excited to get this going. Cool. Zone 6. Yeah, you're not too far off. Awesome. Let's see. I had that thing about the downspouts. There's little banners we can put at the bottom. Don't forget to hit the like button. So if whoever, y'all hit the like button last night, that was cool. There's a bunch of likes on it. I don't think I've had like a bunch of likes on my, because I forget to ask. I just get in here and start running my mouth. But yeah, so that's what I was going to come on and talk about. And like I said, I don't want to be in here rambling on like I did last night for like an hour and a half and talking about stuff that doesn't even have to do anything about gardening. So do you guys have any more questions in that? And like I said, these are the seeds that I use. Sprout House for the peas. My sunflowers I use Handy Pantry. And I didn't tell you who this was. I showed you the broccoli, and I don't think I ever said the name. This is from Rainbow Heirloom Seed Company. So, and I actually got that one off of Amazon. Like I said, I got the little Amazon store down below, or I think you can go on Amazon and search broccoli seeds for sprouting. Let's see. My shard NFT is killing it. Cool. Taking over the patio. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. All right, next live stream. Um, I have my hard drive, and I put all my old pictures on there. I was talking about this last night, but it's a bunch of like old pictures that they're crappy because it was a crappy camera. Hey, CB, Mike is the man, is all I can say. So are you. So are you. You and Renee. Appreciate it. Hot toddies. What can you tell us about getting rid of indoor fungus gnats, Mike? Um, I don't know. The only thing I've done with any kind of like white flies and gnats and everything, I don't know if the yellow helps with the gnats. I haven't had too much fungus gnats. I used to get like a bright yellow piece of, I use like little that foam in the craft store because it wouldn't get wet, but other people just use cardboard and rub Vaseline on it and hang little strips up, and they get attracted to it and stuck in the Vaseline. Brad from Hidden Harvest Grow Lights, he tried out, I don't know what it's called. You're gonna have to go look at his videos or check out his Instagram. And he tried out this little fan that has these little replaceable. It attracts the gnats. It's little replaceable cartridges, and you put it in there, and it attracts the gnats. And this little fan that sucks them in. And he went and pull the bottom out the next day, and there's like a ton of gnats in there. So that worked real well. And I don't, for the life of me, I can't think of what it was called. But if you know Brad from Hidden Harvest Grow Lights, hook up with him, and he'll tell you. And if you can't find him, hook up with me on Twitter, and I'll get it. Oh, there he is, he's right there. That's it. Catchy fly catcher. How you doing? How you doing, Brad? And so we got Brad and CB in here and Jeff. Cool. The fan is a perfect idea. I've done strips with a little. Yeah, that's what I had the strips, and then I even got the paper, like an 8 by 10 piece of paper, whatever. And then I was even going out there like shaking a plant and then waving the paper around trying to get the net stuck on it, so it wasn't working really well. Even the white flies, I was trying to chase them around, and luckily where I'm at, I haven't had that much problem this past year. Good, my friend. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up here. I'm trying organza bags around my containers to keep the insects away indoors. Seems to be working. Okay, cool. So if y'all see that, if y'all want to give that a try, organza. I have to take a look at that. It was CB, Jeannie, Kate. Y'all just saying, hey, cool. All right, let's see. What time is it? 30:30. All right, cool. Does anybody have questions about this? Or like I said, I'm going to be busy making downspouts. A lot of you have ordered it. Appreciate it. You're gonna, you guys are helping me. You're helping the channel. Like I said, all of this stuff, it takes time and money to do it. And hopefully in the future, I can take more time off of work and then make more videos to share. Instead of just putting one out a week, I like to put out 2 or 3. Share a lot more stuff. But anyone who ordered anything, I know that you guys are wanting the containers and you're going to be growing, and it's helping you, but it also helps me too. And I just want to say thank you. And I really appreciate it. Thomas, it would be nice if romaine lettuce grew as fast as the microgreens. Yeah, it would. And when I grow romaine, it's just like the other lettuce where it's cut and come again. It'll start to grow, and I'm actually eating it as it's growing, and it usually just kind of bolts, and it doesn't form like a tight head like it does in the ground. But that's the nature of crack key, is that it's basically got to be like fast growing. If you take a little more care of your stuff, now I want everybody to realize this too. Dwarf lettuce. Yep. I'm on the road a whole lot. The work that we do, I'm with my wife. She paints like decorative painting and murals. So we're in like a different house, or we're in different locations all the time. So we're on the road a lot, and I realize that not everybody is like that. That most people have a 9-to-5 job, or something that they go to work and they come home every day. So if you do that, you can, whatever I'm doing, you can do a whole lot better than me. That you can take more care of it. Just because I like do something, I'm like, oh, you can just leave it for a week or you can leave it for 3 or 4 days. Doesn't mean you have to. If you're home, go out there and check, because if you're not putting pesticide on there, then you can go out there and wander around, and try to get the problems before they become problems. I'm doing things to the extreme so that it kind of helps everybody. That way, if someone says, I can't do it because I don't have the room, it's a smaller system. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of that. I'm trying to eliminate all excuses so almost everybody can grow. But that doesn't mean you have to do it like that. If you want to take care of your plants, you want to be there every day, and you want to go out there 2 or 3 times a day and check on them, that's even better. So what I'm doing is like bare minimum that you guys can do even more. Like the broccoli that's out there right now, that entire bed. Me and Keely just went and looked at it today, and I told her, asked her if she wanted to transplant some, because I've let it go to where they're completely dried up. A couple of them are starting to dry up. So I know exactly how long it took from beginning to end without touching it. And that literally is what we did. But was I planted them out. You saw that video where I have all the milk cartons, planted them out. The next day I came out to check if any were dead. If you guys use your microgreens and you pop them into these, the first night you do it, you come out the next day, because sometimes you're not gonna, some of the little tiny roots won't be down into the nutrient solution. They might, curled up or stuck, or you might not have put them down low enough, and you'll come out and some of them be dead sometimes. So you come out the next day. That's what I did. I planted them all out, went out the next day, and I think there was one out of like 60. And all I did was pull it out and stuck another microgreen in it. And then after that, I didn't do anything to it. When I showed you guys updates, all of the updates were that I just left it there, and I came in with the camera once in a while and filmed it. The only thing we did was that we picked some off of it and ate it. But those milk cartons, I didn't do anything, not one thing to it. So that's what I think Jeannie or somebody was asking, if it was, we were going to let it, if it was going to grow a head of broccoli. And basically these no, and I don't know that it will. Some of mine in the other crack key systems, they grew little tiny heads of broccoli. It wasn't like a big head of broccoli, a little tiny one, and then they all flowered. I could have cut that off, but it would have been like one piece of broccoli. So, but that's why I'm into greens, the broccoli and forming a head. I'm trying to change the way people think, because that's what we would do is we plant a bunch of broccoli, and it'd take a long time, to grow one stalk, and you'd have so many, and then you'd harvest, and then you'd be done. And I'm trying to show them that the leaves are edible too, and that there's a lot of nutrients in the broccoli leaf. There's not a lot of plants where you can like eat everything, but the broccoli leaves are really healthy for you, and we don't do it here in America. So I'm doing something a little different, so that way, people learn. Just like sweet potato leaves. Most people don't know you can eat sweet potato leaves, and they're so easy to grow. And we sit out there and we plant them, and vines go everywhere. You have leaves, and people are cutting them back. And then they're like, oh, we're going to harvest it. And they take all these leaves and pull them all off, and they throw them in the compost, and they dig up. And then they're like, oh, my sweet potatoes didn't do very good. I'm not going to do that again. They're like, well, you just threw a whole bunch of food in the compost pile. So I'm trying to show people different things that we don't usually do. If it's normal things, that's why I don't grow a lot of tomatoes or film it or show a lot, because there's a bunch of people growing tomatoes. I like to try and show the different things that normally people don't know about. Are you guys just talking amongst yourself? I know that I saw a bunch of comments go by. I just sprayed down my chard and dunked it in neem oil. Yeah, neem oil works to try and get rid of spider mites. Ooh, I shifted 4-foot downspouts inside, one with kale and the other with chard. Yeah, that's the only thing with doing everything organic and not using pesticides. So we got to stay on top of it with all these pests. And that crossed my fingers. They were here from last year. Yeah, they could have been. One thing, I did let all of my pak choy go to seed. And I went out there. I was going to film it for y'all. So I'm filming, and I was picking some of them. and tying them up to let them dry. And like one of them I grabbed and it was full of aphids. That's going to be on one video too. So I wasn't on top of it. If I was, like I said, if you're there every day and you go and look, I might have seen, a small part of it, aphids starting. But this was like the entire plant was like infested. Because I haven't been over there, I just would let them bolt. And I was going to go and get the pods. And they were out there for like weeks on their own. But yeah, I stay on top of it. I do high-end homes and boats and some decorative. Cool. My broccoli micros taste like broccoli on steroids. Yeah, they do. And they're good for you. Let's see. All right. So most of you guys, if you're talking amongst yourselves, if you guys asked a question and I missed it in the chat, just pop it in there again and type out question or something and so I see, so I don't kind of get mixed up. Aphids are a nightmare. Yeah. Yeah, it was, it's like they're real tiny at first. You don't really notice. And then all of a sudden it's like, they're all over the place. We notice them a lot because when ants start going up and down your plant and they start milking them, we're like, what are the ants after? The ants are after the aphids that are all over it. But yeah, I get a lot of questions about, what to do with pests. And I'm like, that's why I grow like the broccoli. I grow so much. Some of it's going to get leaf miners on it. Some of it's going to get, the cabbage beetles, so some of them will get in there. And I try to grow a little bit more, and I try not to grow too much that I waste it. So we're having a little more luck here because we don't have too many varmints except for squirrels. Whereas at our other place, we're way out. Some of you guys out in the sticks, and everything thinks it's a free salad bar. Whatever you're growing, come up and graze on. We went through that for like years trying to grow this stuff and that's why we started doing this, was because we had where we were farmhands, we had an entire lake we lived on, and we were the only ones on that lake and used the tractor for the fields. We could have plowed it up and we could have had a huge garden. But being way out there, it was, all the wildlife, would just come munching on it. And we started growing like this so that, we had that handrail, and that's flat. That's just about the size of a 2x4. There were 2x4 handrails, and I just sat right on top of it. And it was perfect. So we put that around our porch, and, the deer wouldn't come up on the porch, and they wouldn't, most of the time, once in a while you get a stray raccoon or possum or something was brave enough to come up there, but most of them, would hang out around the lake and everything. So that's basically how it came up with that system, was just out of necessity. Let's see, brought in the outside soil that came with aphids. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Aphids are the reason for the organza bags. Cool. So that it works with that. Those bags work with aphids and that too. Have any of you guys, if you bought soil or used it outside, have any of you guys tried to like cook it in the oven or anything? I've saw somebody do that, and then some people say it kills like all the microbes, and I've heard like little conflicting stories in that. But have any of you all done that? Like cook it in the oven? Collect them and turn them loose in my garden. Yep. Too many fire ants, deer, and critters around my house. Growing traditional garden. Yeah. That's what we went through that for years, and it would, like I said, you try, and like we would try, and then it would just get, it'd be heartbreaking. You get a little somewhere. If right off the bat it just doesn't grow, you're like, okay, but then if you start growing stuff, and then you put time and effort, and it's like weeks and months, and then all of a sudden one night something just comes through and just eats it all or just tears it up. That's really heartbreaking. So, like I said, I really love, this system. If, like I said, we get aphids, usually if you're out there, like I said, I try not to, if we're not on the road, I do go out there and check. I go out in the morning and check things out. But if something happens, if you grow in a bunch of small containers like this, if you have a bunch of these sitting around, then if something, and they're not like stacked right beside each other, if aphids get on something, usually they start infecting this one. And you can catch it, and you can take this out to the compost or to your neighbor's yard and clean it out. and you can usually catch something before it gets, to everything, and just replant one. So that's why I don't have, these come in 10-foot sections, so I could get them and just make, a 10-foot section. But I usually don't do that. I have them in the shorter ones like I sell y'all, because it's more manageable. If something happens, I lose 5 or 6 plants, and I clean it up, replant some microgreens, and I'm back in business there, instead of having a bunch of plants crowded together, and all of them go in a pot at once. I put soil in plastic bags and in the sun for a while to sterilize it. Okay, cool. And somebody said something about a microwave. Okay, yeah, so all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I don't do too much soil. I've been using a little bit of soil on the, these. I'll use soil and the peas. Ladybugs lay eggs in a rosemary bush. Look neat at first. Even caterpillars' legs. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Have you all ever had? We had one lady, I guess a female or male or whatever. Female, I think, like gives off a scent when it's time to mate. And one came up to our inside our house and did that, or right around the back door or something. And we had like a swarm of ladybugs like come in. And you remember that, Keely? They're all over the place. We came home and there was like hundreds of ladybugs around a windowsill. It was actually pretty cool. My grandson will come in and ask if I'm cooking. The answer is dirt. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. So you do that. That's cool. I cooked soil trying to get rid of fungus gnats, but it didn't work. Okay, so it didn't work on a fungus gnats. Guess you need to bake it very hot, long in time. Yeah, the kitchen gets smelly. 350 degrees. There you go. 15 minutes. Put soil in black trash bags and in the sun to bake them. Yeah, kind of like you do with your compost and letting your compost sit. Have any of you heard about getting soil from the store, like potting soil, and using a mask and using gloves? That there's, I think it was, what the heck was it? Legionnaire's disease or something, or there was something you could catch from the potting soil, and some guy caught it and was very sick and almost died or did die or something. I don't know. It was like on Twitter or something. I was, scrolling through and something was trending and had an article come up. And I was like, oh my God, I've been, I buy potting soil all the time and I've never put on a mask or gloves or anything. Have anybody else heard anything or saw that article? I had good results with the sunlight and black plastic. Cool deal. How you doing, Kevin? And Chris, how are you doing? Did I say hey to you already, Christopher? Not so lucky. Let me see what it says. May you please show what you're growing now. Let's see. In here, they're in the house. Are you talking about like what I showed on last night's show, or my microgreens? If you go to last night's live stream, I had them all up here. We've actually took them and harvested them because the peas were, if you look at last night's live stream, the peas were about that tall. They're actually like too long. And the sunflowers, we were talking about, have you guys eaten sunflower sprouts? When you use the sunflower sprouts, the very first 2 big leaves that come out, cotyledons, is actually what used to be the sunflower seed. And it kind of tastes a little nutty like that. And that's good. But then if you let it go any bigger, it gets its first true set of leaves, and those are kind of furry. And I don't like eating them. It's real funky texture on your mouth. So you want to get it when it's got the cotyledons. When you see the first true leaves starting, go ahead and harvest them. The peas, we let them grow and grow, because you don't need to harvest the whole pea. The vine, what you do is just take the first 2 or 3 inches. That's real tender. As it gets bigger, it gets woody. But if you get them when they're 2 or 3 inches tall, cut them. You can eat them. You can harvest them, put them in your refrigerator, or if you let them go like what we did, we let them grow, because you don't have to eat the whole thing. You just get that top 2 or 3 inches. And what we do is we harvest it. And somebody told me, I put it out and we got like a second harvest out of it. So they're all like chopped off, and the sunflower sprouts, Keely V, that's in the chat. I think she ate most of those. I can bring that in here, but there's like, a tiny bit of it left. So we harvested almost everything. I got the broccoli sprouts. I mean, I could walk inside and show you that if that's what you wanted to see. Not so lucky. If everybody doesn't mind me taking like 5-10 seconds to walk into the house and go and get it, I'll go grab that real quick and show you. Can you guys entertain each other for like a couple of minutes? I'll be right back. Somebody put some music on. All right, there's broccoli. Let me go see if we got any peas left. I'll sit, hang tight. All right, forgive me if it looks like an earthquake. I'm shaking the table. That's what's left of the sunflower sprouts. Miss Van Duzey's been eating that. Here we've got one pea. Got a pea shoot left. See, that one's big. The pea shoots got too big. All right, that's a jungle. Let's see. What did I miss? Installed my panel boards on the bottom of the greenhouse. Cool, and install the heater in it. Awesome. The video will be coming out tomorrow. Yeah, if y'all haven't, check out CB. Go subscribe to his channel, and he's got a greenhouse that he sets up, 2 of them, right? And you can watch them from beginning to end all through the season. I love sunflower sprouts on stir fry are awesome, but like I said, forgive me if it's like shaking like an earthquake, but this is on the table, the laptop sitting on it. But see, we just go in, we're, just munching off of that. And I think I pulled off most of the true leaves. Let me pull this one off. Showed them on the channel, the show last night. There you go. See this first set here? It looks round. That was a sunflower seed. And it tastes nutty, kind of like sunflower seed, a little more green. But that's delicious. Then this next set of leaves, that's the first true set of leaves. That's what the sunflower leaves actually look like, and it's real fuzzy. I don't like that, and it's got a weird kind of taste. Usually if we go to eat that, pinch that off. Goes in the compost, and that's what we eat. But what you ideally is to let them just get to about that point, before the true leaves start coming. See right there how they're really small. Let me get one right here. See, that first set of true leaves is really small. When you see that happening, go ahead and just harvest them or eat them like that. Don't let them get too much bigger than that. But cool, that's delicious. Move that out of the way. These are the broccoli sprouts. I showed everyone last night. This little container. All we did was put a wick in through here. This one has 3. We'll talk about that in the next video. I talked about it last night. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but we got a couple of wicks in here, and we have a grow mat up on top. Sprinkled the broccoli seeds on it, and I put a little fine vermiculite, not the real chunky white stuff, but the real fine stuff looks like dust. I put a little on top, and I learned that from Pepe. I saw Pepe doing it one day. But here in Florida, we have high humidity, and with this wicking system, it always stays damp, right? And that's part of the beauty with not having to do anything. It's like carefree. But the problem is it stays damp. And if you don't have ventilation on it, you'll grow fungus on there. You can kind of see, you know, that all looks fine in there, right? That little bit of vermiculite that was on the top allows the fan to blow across it, and that vermiculite dries up, but underneath stays moist. So it stays moist, but then that top layer dries out, and you don't have quite as much problem with fungus. The little tendrils holding on. But like I said, this is what, when you look at the milk carton garden, like the little thumbnail that we had, all of that came from like one little spot like this, where we're like pulling the microgreens off of here. It came from one little spot like this. So about that much is all you need, and you can grow that many greens. So this could be like a whole garden full of greens. And each one of these is like a broccoli plant. See how easy that came out? See the roots? They're not really long roots, just that will do. And that's how I did it. I just popped them off like that, stuck them inside of the top of the milk carton garden, right inside the milk carton. Just cut a tiny little piece of pool noodle to kind of hold it. And all those broccoli greens came from this. And we did have some peas left. Here's one container. But these grow wild. If you like pea shoots, these are easy. Sprout them just like the sunflower seeds. Soak them overnight, empty it out, rinse it out like 1 or 2 days. And this one I actually grow in soil, right? This little container, and then we got a wick going up into it. Look at all the roots. I want to drip it all over the computer, but the roots are going right down into it. If everything shorts out and y'all get kicked off, it's because I dripped everything on the laptop. But these gotten a little too big, but I was waiting so I could show everybody on the live stream. So this, during the middle of the week, I should have harvested it, but I don't worry about it because this is what I was talking about. See how long this one is? Maybe pop it off down here. Down here gets a little woody. You don't have to eat that entire thing. Right down here starts to get, there you go. See, it starts to get stringy and woody, right? But you don't have to worry. You're not like it, you didn't waste it, because you can just come up here. I usually get this part right here. See how that came off? And there's no string on it. So right there, see, that's still edible. And all these leaves are edible. That's what the chefs like. See how those little tiny tendrils look like little hair on it? So you've got this, even though I should have harvested it when it was about this tall. I'm like, well, I got the live stream coming up. I want to show them. I let it grow this tall. But you can still come in and just pop those off. Leave this down here, and it'll actually grow back a second time. I did it the last one. You know, I was cutting mine off, harvesting it, cleaning them out, and somebody said, hey, you can let those go and get a second harvest out of it. So out of those peas, you get a second harvest. Give it a try. And what we're actually going to do is take some of these, if I can get the roots out. If not, I've got so many pea plants right here. I mean, I could put those in the garden right now if we don't get a frost. I mean, that's like hundreds of pea plants started. What I'll do is, this container only costs $1. And that's why I love doing stuff like this, is that if we try to find the cheapest, easiest way, if you have to do something or you lose something or something breaks, it was $1, right? You don't worry about it. Now, if I try to get these out of here and try to pull the roots out, you know, there's a bunch of roots. There's a big mat of roots under here not all the roots are down here. If you guys can see that, it's white down there. That's a bunch of roots. So what I usually do is I can waste the top, a lid. You know, I'll go get another dollar. I'll break that lid apart. You know, I cut this into little chunks and try to save as many roots as I can and go and plant it. You might lose some. You're going to thin it out anyway. So we're going to harvest some of these, eat them. I got more peas coming. I can go plant me some more. But I want to stick a couple of these in the garden. You know, we're going to eat a big portion of it, but I might stick, you know, 12 of these, 12, 2 dozen of them out in the garden and see if they grow. So that's kind of fun to do too. So anything that you're growing, you know, you can grow into a plant. That's why we love the broccoli, is that these are healthy for you. You take that and keep putting it on your food, throw it in your salads. You know, there's not a lot of taste like kids. You say, eat your broccoli, and you're like fighting with your kids. You know, you sprinkle this stuff on it, there's not that much taste. You know, it's not that tough, you know, to get a kid to eat something like that, as it is to eat a big piece of broccoli. But you keep that growing all the time. And then whenever you have your little downspouts, you got a free one. We just went outside and I think I cleaned up at least a dozen, maybe more downspouts. You know, there were, during the winter, we had our pak choi growing. I let it go to seed. I went and cleaned them all out. And now we're going to take these and plant a lot of those out because I've got like 2 or 3 of these containers right now. So that's way more, you know, microgreens than we need to eat. And it doesn't take a whole lot. When I do it, I just grab a couple like this. It's at about 3 or 4. And I stick that many into each one because each one I want like at least 2 of them growing. So it's just like doing a traditional garden. You plant more than you need. I grab about that many of them, pop it in the pool noodle. And of course, 1 or 2 will die. If it doesn't, when they get baby green size, eat 1 or 2 of them until you leave 2 to get like really big where you can keep getting leaves off of it. So that's the beauty of the system. Let's see, like using pea shoots to bake with salmon. Okay, you're talking about recipes. All right, so has everybody just been talking amongst themselves? Did anybody have a question? Did I miss anything? And I forgot who had asked for that. Where do you buy your seeds? Where do you like to buy your seeds? Okay, Valerie, real quick. I think we went over this. You can go back in the video and check where I watch the replay and check where I was talking about it. But real quick, the peas I got from the Sprout House. There's a Amazon store down below in the description, and they're all inside. If you click on the Amazon store, down at the bottom, it's got hydroponic supplies and it's got seeds. These seeds are all in there. Or you can go to the Sprout House. It's right there. 1-800-SPROUTS or thesprouthouse.com. My sunflowers that we're growing over here, that's handy pantry. And I got a 1.5 pound bag. There's still a load of those in there. And we already ate a bunch of sunflower sprouts. And the broccoli that's right here, it's right there. What's that say? Rainbow Heirlooms. And that one's down in the Amazon store too. And let me see if they've got a website. Yeah, complete sprouting instructions at rainbowheirloomseeds.com. So you can probably order right directly from them. Or if you go, if you go to Amazon, I got these because I'm a Prime member, and I don't know if most of you are Prime members, but I ordered them, and it's like in 2 days, it's at your doorstep. So that's why I order from Amazon. I just get it like really quick. Let's see. Now I'm all lost in the comments. Our snow peas are popping nicely. Cool. Awesome. Let's see. Keep on going. What kind of sunflower seeds do you use and where do you buy them? Okay, is that what you're talking about, Keely? And those are the black oil. Let me check real quick. Yeah, the black oil sunflower sprouting seeds. Those are good. I like that. Kate. Okay, Valerie said, cool, thumbs up. And if y'all don't forget, do a little thumbs up. Check the little banner. One more time before we leave. If anybody wants any downspouts, from now I've got a little time before spring. So lots of people were asking me the special I was running on Black Friday, the buy one get one free. I got a lot of messages said, oh, I missed it. So I've got a little time off before spring, and I got time to get out there and make it. It's pleasant weather outside. I won't mind, put my power tools out, hanging outside and making some. So I'm doing the buy one, get one free. But once springtime starts, then you guys know I'm going to be in the garden. I got my real job that I actually got to go work and make money and 100 other things. But I've got a tiny little bit of time right now. So I said, okay, I'll do the buy one, get one free one more time really quick. And then I probably won't do that again until, after spring, maybe during the heat of summer. If I get a little time, I might do it, if everything's gone. But here in Florida, we grow like all the time. So once I get to growing again, we might be growing straight through, till fall. But yeah, I want to say thanks to everybody who's done that too. Thanks for the live mic. Hope everyone has a safe week. Yeah. Good night. Good night, CB. We'll catch you later. Appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping by. Who else there? Miss Lee. Everybody saying, and Thomas Robson. How are you doing? Good night for the lag to hit. Good time for the lag to hit. Yeah. So are you just lagging, or am I lagging for everybody else too? Because I'm worried about like my internet doing that. But yeah, it's 9:30. I'm gonna pop off. We've been on here about an hour. Anybody have any more questions? Just pop them in real quick. If not, Miss Lee, thank you, and thank you for your order and that. I appreciate it. I'll be working on that this week and getting everything out. Everybody else, like I said, if you supported the channel in any way, that means more to me than I can say, because it just helps me continue doing this. It's not free, getting all these supplies and doing this, and it really does help out. So I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys are going to like, the things that you get. And if you have any questions, I'm always around. And don't forget to share what you're doing. I want to see what's going on. And join the Facebook group and share your stories with them. Even if it's not hydroponics, even if you just do traditional gardening, there's people over there sharing everything too. So it's keep on growing on Facebook too. Just pop on over there, and then we'll let you in. So, all right, we'll catch you later. I've got a couple videos that will be coming out, and then I might, if I get done with a lot of these downspouts and that, I might go ahead and go on another live later on in the week. I'll give you guys a little bit more notice. I know that I've just been popping on in like 30 or 40 minutes notice now, but I'll give you more notice next time. So really appreciate it. I love y'all. Thank you for the support. Get out there, live to inspire, and keep on growing. All right. Good night, everybody.